Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. My special guest today from Eastland-Fairfield, the business coordinator, Kelly Fuller. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
I'm living the dream.
Awesome.
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Same thing.
That's a minute ago we were talking about vacations and all those things. You just spent some time in Arizona?
We did. Over Christmas, my husband and daughter, Caroline, and some other family members did the planes, trains, and automobiles, flew to Albuquerque, rented a car, drove to Williams, Arizona, hopped on a train, saw the Grand Canyon, then did everything in reverse. So it was a lot of fun. You know, sometimes we forget how blessed we are in this country with so many amazing things to see, and that was a true treat.
Was that the first time you saw the Grand Canyon?
It was not my first time, but it was for my daughter, so that was a pretty special moment for her.
My oldest daughter, Megan, lived in Chandler, Arizona for some time. We went out. I was amazed when you walk up and you're just like, whoa. And I don't know if you know Roger Woods, a friend of mine from Baltimore. He walked down in the Grand Canyon and walked back out. And that's amazing.
That is amazing. That and the when we found out that with the donkeys that you can ride to the bottom, they leave at like midnight.
Whoa.
So I stayed on the bus. the donkey thing at midnight, no, not so much. But you're absolutely right. It really defies description. I mean,
Sure.
you do have to see it, I think, in person to really, truly understand the grandeur of the canyon.
You've been at Eastland-Fairfield now for a long time. And first thing, let's talk about websites, phone numbers. People have any questions, they can...
Yeah, visit us on the web. We put a lot of our information out there about start dates, about classes, cost of things are all there. It's eastlandfairfield.com, very easy one to navigate. It's a great way for people who are considering coming to our school as either high school juniors and seniors or as adult learners or individuals seeking able GED. We also have an English for speakers of other languages, an ESOL program, and all of that information is on that website. In addition, businesses who are looking to post jobs, we have a free job board. You go to that eastlandfairfield.com, go to the businesses tab, and you sign up to post jobs. And we're getting them out then in front of our current students and our alumni, as well as the general public.
Ballpark figure, how many students are there between Fairfield and also Eastland and Groveport?
Yeah, so they're about probably close to between 800 and 900, the two campuses. Wow. That depends, year to year. Enrollment changes, fluctuates, but we can serve up to 25 juniors and 25 seniors in each one of our lab programs. So it's we're always, as you know, over the years we've talked, we're always changing, evolving those programs to meet what the current industry demands are.
What do you see from your, because you deal with businesses, you're also dealing with students come in. What do you see? I know you have a lot of programs and we can talk about those. What do you see? What's the trend that you see now?
The trend that we're seeing, unemployment is pretty low in the Central Ohio area. So what that means for someone who's looking for a job, looking for training to attain a job, there's a pretty good opportunity that you're going to find employment. And the other thing that we're seeing, especially in areas around Rickenbacker where the intermodal is and lots of distribution centers are located, we're seeing that a lot of those distribution centers are increasing their rates of pay due to demand. There just aren't enough trained, skilled workers. And when I'm talking about distribution centers, I'm not limiting that to the entry-level positions only. I'm talking about some of the higher skilled positions there. Automation is huge. We've all heard about it. We know that automation is changing in manufacturing and in distribution, but someone has to install, repair, maintain all of those miles and miles of conveyor systems, of robotic arms that are in place. Those are the positions that are highly coveted right now.
And I know Rickenbacker has several as surrounding Central Ohio. I know you're involved with high schools, but you're also involved in middle schools now too.
We are. We about 5 years ago now took on this initiative to get into each one of our 16 districts, and our districts that we serve it's a pretty huge geographic reach. We have all of the county schools here in Fairfield County. We don't cover Lancaster City. Lancaster City has their own career tech program that they do very well. So we have Fairfield County. We're in Pickaway County at Taze Valley, and then in Franklin County we run the gamut geographically from Groveport, Madison, Hamilton. We have the Pickerington schools, Canal Winchester, Reynoldsburg, we actually reach all the way to New Albany.
Wow.
So all of those are the districts we serve. Within those districts, there are many middle schools, clearly. So we hired an individual, Christine Boucher, like I said, almost 5 years ago. And Christine will go in and meet with middle school students, their teachers, their guidance counselors, and their parents. Because we know parents, we hope as parents that we can influence somewhat our children's
Somewhat.
You gotta hope for the best.
Yeah.
But we want parents to understand some of these job opportunities that are out there, and if the child determines as a junior, senior, they want to attend our Career Center, that's great. If they determine as an adult they want to come to us, that's great too. But if they decide, maybe the career tech path is not for me, that's okay as well. We just want them to have enough information as middle school students,
Sure.
junior high students, to make good decisions going forward.
And the classes that you have, they're pretty much hands-on. I mean, this isn't doing something online. This is hands-on.
Yeah, that's really, I think, kind of the hallmark of career tech education, be it high school or adult, is you do have some theory. Before I send you out to fix an air conditioner, we got to talk about it
Give
in
you
the
power
classroom.
tools.
That's right. Give you some sharp objects. Before we do that, we're going to spend some time in the classroom in theory and safety. OSHA 10 is a big part of all of our programs. So we're going to give you that basis. And then at a point in time when we feel like you can go then start demonstrating the theory and the skills, we go out into the lab. It's very hard to learn how to fix a car, repair an air conditioner, prepare a meal, all doing that online. I mean, at some point in time, getting our hands on the actual equipment is really important. And having a teacher there right next to you, supporting you and encouraging you through that process.
Financially, it's like equal to a 4-year degree. I mean, as far as cost, I guess.
So talk about from a couple different perspectives. For high school, because we are a public school, we are a school of choice for public school, but it's free. The student, if they're coming in, there might be some lab fees.
Okay.
If a student's financial and their family's financial situation makes that difficult, we do have some opportunities to help those students as well. We don't want cost to be a prohibitive factor. On the adult side, it is tuition based. So, for example, put on my glasses so I can actually read here. Medical assisting is a 900-hour class. That's about $8,700 this year. So that $8,700 would be the tuition that individual would pay. A person for any program that's 600 hours or more, so medical assisting would fall in there,
Okay.
can get financial aid.
Who determines the hour? 609? What's the?
That's really determined by the curriculum, and the
Okay.
curriculum is driven by business partners. So, for example, if we talk about medical assisting, we will meet with nurses, other medical assistants, doctors' offices, hospitals, healthcare providers, and say, what is it that, in order for a medical assistant to come out into the field, what all do you need them to be able to do? In addition, we have an accrediting body through medical assisting, that's AAMA, American Association of Medical Assistants, and they determine, in that case, it's a 900-hour program. Because it's more than 600, it qualifies for Pell Grants and student loans. So a Pell Grant right now, I believe, is hovering right around $5,800. So if an individual qualifies for full Pell, of that, close to $9,000 mark there for medical assisting, they could actually get a huge portion of that paid for with Pell dollars. Right. The rest of that they have to finance, that gap, we offer federal student loans as well. So it is very similar to going to an OUL or OCU or another 2 or 4 year school, in the fact that financial aid is also on the table for the student.
And as a matter of fact, you have an open house coming up pretty soon.
Well, we do, and this is pretty cool. On May 11th, at the Eastland building, which is at 4465 South Hamilton Road in Groveport, and because I drive it every day from Lancaster on 33, now especially since we don't have a light anymore there in the Carroll area, you can get up there in about 20-25 minutes from downtown Lancaster. It's May 11th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. and that night, a couple of really special things. One is you'll be able to meet all the instructors for the programs, and this is adults. I'm talking adult learners.
So if somebody said, I don't know what I want to do, this would be a perfect opportunity to go.
It's a great time to go. If I'm somebody who thinks maybe, I want to do something in manufacturing, for example, we've got a couple of manufacturing type programs that you might say, well, I don't know whether I really want to do welding or CNC machining or this new thing called multi-craft technician. So we'll have instructors there to walk those individuals through like a day in the life in the class, what that work really, feels like, looks like when you leave school and you're actually employed too.
Just show up, reservations?
Nope, just show up. We also have the financial aid staff will be there that night to get you registered to get your FAFSA going. We have typically a $75 registration fee when anyone enrolls in a full-time adult program. That night, if they actually enroll that night, they waive the $75 fee. So if you're thinking about these classes at all, go out on the website, the Eastland-Fairfield.com, go to the Adult Education tab, look at some of the classes. We have videos on there for each one, except these new ones that we're starting, the CNC and the multi-craft. Those don't have videos or pages on them yet, but you can get more information about the classes themselves.
When students come in, obviously they have a lot of questions about the class, but are you able to hold like a part-time job and still go to class?
It's a really good question. We have a career counselor that works with our adult students. Her name is Lisa Duckworth, and Lisa works with students in all areas of life, barrier resolution, whether that's transportation, childcare, finding a job.
Sure.
And we encourage our students to meet with Lisa to talk some of those things through. I mentioned the job board that's on our website. A lot of times companies are posting positions that avail themselves very nicely to students that are in program that might also want to be working. So for example, if I can't be a full medical assistant yet because I haven't completed the program and I haven't sat for the certification, there might be something attached in a medical field or a doctor's office that maybe I could be doing. Maybe it's answering the phones or something like that. Welding is the same thing. Our welding students receive several certifications: ARC, MIG, TIG, oxyacetylene, flux core. I have no idea what any of those things mean.
I wonder if you could explain
on
those.
any of those. But they will get those after completing the entire program. But if they've only got one certification, they've only been there for a couple of months, but a company says, I'd like someone to come and do some, MIG welding, then, we encourage that student to go and find that employment as well. That class, the welding, meets in the evenings. So if there's a day job that a student can do, it's something that we can work with them on.
And the open house is that a Thursday, May 11th?
It is a Thursday, yeah.
At Eastland and Groveford, and 6:30 to 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
on that Thursday, May 11th, at Eastland and Groveford.
it is.
Summer camp, you also have something?
We do. We do a summer camp, and this is something that I think this is our 10th or 11th year, and it is open to all middle school students, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It's usually the second week of June. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't have the exact dates, but I can get that for you.
Is it on the website?
It is. It's, again, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in all the schools that we serve, which, again, would be all the kids here in Fairfield County at the county schools. And they can come in for free for a full day, and through immersion, they pick either 1 or 2 labs. So, for example, when my daughter did it a few years ago, I signed her up for the things that I thought she would like culinary in the morning and cosmetology in the afternoon, because she likes to eat and she likes to get her nails done. So, I thought that worked well. She enjoyed it, loved it. And but she said to me, as she saw little kids walking out of the welding lab, they had made shepherd's hooks.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, yeah, I'll do welding next year. But it's a really neat way for kids and their parents to kind of come into the Career Center, see what it's about, experience a couple of labs, and, see, no harm, no foul, just see if it's something that you enjoy. And I think last year we had close to 500 kids that we served. And it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun. It's can be a little tiring for old people like me chasing middle schoolers through the hallways, but it's just a great experience. And we have a lot of kids that come back and repeat 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Yeah.
We have some that no longer can do it. They're too old. They come back and volunteer and help us. So it's a fun community event that we do.
You've been involved in businesses for a long time. Talk a little bit about the business mindset today that maybe was different 5 years ago. I know we have job fairs and we have
Right.
those things, but it seems like businesses are reaching out more to the younger, I mean, not necessarily younger, but high school kids, and saying, okay, this is what's out there.
Right. We want to be very careful, I guess, about how I answer that, but because I don't want this to sound negative, but regardless of the industry, whether it's manufacturing or retail or medical, a common theme is there, and that theme is work ethic, which is something that is hard to teach, but it is demonstrated by showing up every day that you're scheduled to work, showing up on time, being able to communicate with people,
Right.
as opposed to the texting and to everything happening, digitally. So whether it's a manufacturer or someone who owns a retail establishment, what I hear so much of is that those soft skills in a way, but it's even more than that. It's
Right.
just this, taking personal responsibility and accountability for work. One of the things that we do at the Career Center, and I know other schools do this as well, is we have something called 21st Century Skills. And that's a class all of our students are required to take. And in that class, we talk not only about interviewing and having a good resume, but now that you've got the job, what's the expectation? What is the employer really asking you to do? And how important it is that we learn to resolve conflict in a mature, direct way. And those are skills that we're, constantly talking to young people and some older
Sure.
students as well about how important that is when you're working and how important that is in life in general.
It's again, and you work with a lot of different businesses, and we've done a lot of work together. Sometimes it's baffling. I mean, we talk about, showing up for work on time, and I talk to a lot of older people, older than I am, Kelly. I talk to a lot of older people, and they struggle for it.
Sure.
And I know, again, you're spending so much time with businesses, but it's when you go into where you have like this open house, what type of questions? Not about necessarily about the classes, but do you get a lot of questions about, do I have to show up on time? Do I have to do?
It's interesting. I really wish and would encourage people to ask more, maybe not do I have to show up on time, but I would encourage them to ask more questions about what is the work environment really like. If this hasn't happened to me in a few years, but I remember years ago having a young lady come in and she was interested in anything to do with medical, but then she followed that up by saying, I don't really care for sick people. So these are not compatible.
Okay, yeah.
These are not compatible. That's an overdramatic example, but some of the things that I do wish and encourage people to ask about a program, a training program, or a place of employment is, what does this really entail? Will I be on my feet a lot? Will I be working by myself or working in a group environment? Will I have to will I have to come in on days and times that I'm not scheduled? So that's discussed up front, that people understand. It's all about the expectation.
Right.
What really is the expectation? So I would encourage people to ask questions about, what is the work environment like?
Right.
Will I have to carry heavy equipment? There was something I heard on NPR a couple weeks ago. Again, one of the fastest growing jobs, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and I don't know how much we see in this area, but is wind turbine mechanics. Now, the salary's phenomenal, but you have to be inside tiny little silos up 260 feet. So
Whoa.
the salary might sound enticing on the one hand, but if I don't want to be alone in a tiny cramped space, high above the ground,
Sure.
that's probably not the best fit for me. So I would encourage people just to ask questions.
Wow, that's interesting. What was it? What type of mechanic was that?
It was a wind turbine. So
Wind
those giant
turbine.
wind turbines, if you drive
Yeah,
through Indiana,
sure.
and there are thousands of them, that is an in-demand field, a growing field.
Wow, that's amazing. The when you talk with businesses, what's the number one thing that you hear back from them? And we're talking about not showing up on
Right.
time, but I'm anxious when businesses come to you and say, okay, your class has this, but this is what we're facing.
Sure. I think adaptability and coachability
Okay.
are keys in any industry,
Okay.
again, because the industry does change so fast. So many of them do, be it manufacturing or retail. I mean, things change very quickly anymore. The life cycle of processes might have, is smaller. So employers are looking for people to work for them that can be adaptable, that can be coached, that continue to be, we use the term a lot, lifelong learners, that they're constantly,
Sure.
learning the next best thing that they need.
Do all the Eastland, Ross, do they all teach the same classes, or do you say, okay, you teach this and we'll teach this? Or
That's really interesting. I think you're referring to Pickaway Ross, the career
Right.
technical school down in Circleville, Chillicothe area. We have a lot of programs that are similar, but then based on local need and demand, some of their programs might look different than ours. So, for example, Pickaway Ross has a power lineman program. And I think it's in connection with AEP.
Yeah.
We don't currently have that, so that would be a difference. But we do talk to other career centers and refer people. For example, if you wanted to be a power lineman
Right.
and you reached out to me, I'd say, please call, talk to the folks at
Okay.
Pickaway Ross.
Okay. Do you do surveys with businesses?
We do. We meet formally twice a year with each lab. And when I talk about lab, I'm talking about the career tech part
Sure.
itself. Like welding, HVAC. Each one of them has an advisory committee that's made up of business partners.
Right.
They meet in the spring and in the fall formally, and during that time we ask them, the businesses, what are the trends that you're seeing? What are the skills? Kind of the same questions
Yeah.
you're asking. What are the skills that someone needs to have to be successful working in your industry? What certifications, what equipment do we need to add to the program to make these this experience a better, more real-world experience? So we do that spring and fall, and then throughout the year we have visits with our businesses, and that's part of my job, is to go out and visit the businesses and just kind of take the pulse of what's going on right now.
One of the things that I want to make sure we touch base with people that have maybe lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Retraining
Yes.
is big.
It is. We have relationships with all of the Job and Family Services, all the Ohio Means Jobs offices in the area, in all the counties we serve and those adjacent. We do have individuals who, if they have lost their job and they're using funding through one of the sources that's available to them, we work closely with the folks down here at the county in order to help people get retrained, retooled.
It's just, there's so much going on, and again, we want to, one more time, website, phone numbers that
Yeah.
people can go to.
Yeah, visit us at Eastland-Fairfield.com, and it's a very easy, straightforward site. You can find information there whether you're a current student, an alumni, someone seeking to be a student, or a business partner. You can reach us at 614-836-4530, or visit us at either campus. We'd love to have people come in, Fairfield campus down there on Coon Path Road, or up at Eastland at Groveport.
What are the hours? Are they open late in the evening or till 5, 6?
So the adult ed side, at the Fairfield building, we're there Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And up at the Groveport office, you'd actually come to the district office, and they're open from 8 to 4.
There's a lot of activity. And again, the open house is Thursday, May 11th, and that's going to be in Groveport.
It is.
From 6:30 to 8, and that's where people can come in and ask questions.
Yeah, and register, and we'll waive that registration fee that night.
That's fantastic. So now that you're doing all this, what's Kelly doing in her spare time now?
Well, I have a 15-year-old, soon to be 16-year-old, so I don't. That's
You don't have any
that-
spare
that-
time.
That's pretty much shopping with her.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it right now.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and give us an update on what's happening and all the different programs, because how many different programs do you have?
Gosh, it's hard. I lose count sometimes. I mean, we've, it's over 25 on the high school side. For adult, we're adding 3 new programs. I think I mentioned the multi-craft technician,
Right.
the CNC, and we're adding a diesel mechanic training program for adults coming in 18-19.
Wow.
So it's going to be huge. CODA is experiencing a lot of growth. They need bus mechanics. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for individuals that come through that program.
Fantastic. My God, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, I know as your role as business liaison, how many calls do you get? from businesses.
It's daily. It is literally daily. Whether it's a phone call, an email, someone dropping by
Right.
the office, businesses are seeing the value of a career tech
Yeah.
education, and that a career tech student, be it high school or adult, has gone through immersion, through hands-on, real-world experience. A lot of our students have already worked in the field.
Right.
We build that into the class itself, so they're getting someone that knows the industry, has some hands-on experience, and has also been coached and encouraged in those 21st century skills of showing up on time and being accountable.
Being accountable.
It's a concept.
It's a
right?
concept. Well, Kelly, again, we appreciate you coming in and
No
spending
problem.
time with us.
It's always good to see you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we make it again, make a difference.